Today in our 2018 Ford Fusion, we're going to be doing a test fit on the Yakima JetStream Crossbar roof rack system. I've already got it in place so you can get a good look. With this system, it's going to allow you to carry bike racks, cargo carriers, kayak carriers, and more. Now this roof rack is specifically designed to fit the naked roof of your Fusion. The JetStream Crossbars are 50 inches long. You can see how they span across the entire roof. This is going to allow us to carry not one, but multiple accessories on our roof. Maybe you'd like to get 3 bike racks up here, or even 2 kayaks. You'll notice how they have that aerodynamic shape. These are going to be a lot quieter than your traditional round or square bars. Now, they're going to work with your standard clamp-on accessories as well as your T-slot accessories. You'll just want to remove that end cap, and then rather than having to trim or remove that rubber strip, that T-bolt just slides right over the top to your desired location, giving you that nice clean look. The crossbars are held in place by 4 baseline towers. You can see here how they feature some padding, that way they don't harm or scratch our Fusion's roof. Underneath our cover here, you can see it protects our hardware from the elements, and it's going to help deter theft. Now right here you can see our base clip. This is what attaches the baseline tower to the roof of your Fusion. It too is rubber coated, that way it doesn't harm or scratch that finish. When you've got everything installed, the cover goes back on, and you can even upgrade to a lock. That way no one can remove it from your roof. I've opened my door just to give you a shot of that base clip. Again, it is rubber coated all the way to the inside. You can see how it connects. It is specifically designed to fit your Fusion's roof. You can see when we close up our door, that seal just goes around our clip, and we don't have to worry about anything getting inside. Now this roof rack system has a weight capacity of 165 pounds. You do, however, want to check with your Fusion's owner's manual to see if the roof can support that much weight. Now I'll give you some clearance measurements. This will give you an idea how much you've added to the roof of your Fusion. It also may help you when using those clamp-on accessories. From the top of the roof to the underside of the bar is about 3 1/4 of an inch. From the top of the roof to the top of the bar is about 4 3/8 of an inch. Now that we've gone over the features, I'll go ahead and show you how to get it set up. I've already got my front crossbar in place on the Fusion. Per your instructions, you want to measure up 9 inches from the corner of the windshield on each side to the beginning portion of the pad here. That gives you your placement. The rear crossbar installs very similar. Let's go ahead and do it together. Now on the table, I've got one of my baseline towers already installed. We just need to repeat the same process on this side here. We'll start off by grabbing our baseline tower, and we need to remove the cover. Now the way you do this is you squeeze in on both sides on the top here, and then it should just come right apart. Just like that. We can set that aside, and then we need to open up the little gray door here. By doing so, it's going to allow us to access this bolt here. So now we need to do some assembly here on top. We'll take our plastic adapter, we'll push it in place here. Gonna be listening for the click that you heard there. Then we'll take the metal nut. We're going to place that right over the top of the bolt. Now you may have to adjust that bolt a little bit. We'll hold it in place, then we can turn it over and begin to tighten up the screw through here. Now we don't want to tighten it down all the way just yet. What we're looking for is for that metal piece to be flush with the plastic adapter that we put in. Now we can put our pad on the bottom. We need to be sure that the notched portion of it is facing this direction, so away from the tower. Now one thing about the pad is they are numbered. They're different from the front and the rear crossbar. Since we're working with the rear crossbar, we're going to be looking for the number 3. So we can line it up and push it in place. Once we've got it on, we're ready to slide it on to our crossbar. Now it's easier if you turn over your crossbar. That way you can easily see what you're doing when you're sliding it in place. If you haven't removed the end cap already, go ahead and do that. Then we need to slide it into the channel here. So we're looking for the metal bracket and the plastic bracket to slide into the channel. With it installed, we'll then need to set it to the correct measurement. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a scale printed on the bottom of our crossbar here. Per our instructions, we'll need to set it to 39 3/4. Now again, this is going to be for the rear crossbar. The front crossbar has a different measurement, so you can find that located in your instructions. We'll take our tool, and we'll then need to set the pitch and the toe, and that's going to be here and here. Now you'll notice that they're not labeled, but the first one here is A, second one B, and third one C. That's for our pitch. For our toe, it's 1, 2, and 3. Now, how you figure that out is you'll want to start from the front portion of your crossbar, which is going to be the rounded portion of your crossbar. That's what's going to face forward. So when you know that, that's how you know to start to A, B, and C, and 1, 2, and 3. This is all found in your instructions, so if it's confusing, be sure and check that out. So for my setting, the pitch needs to be set to C, so we're going to move it to C. You can see how it kind of changes the angle of our baseline tower. So the bolt is over the line here, which is C, and we'll tighten that up. We're going to be listening for 2 clicks on our tool. That's how we know it's properly torqued down. And as for our toe, that just needs to be the number 2, which is in the center. And again, we can tighten that down. Then we can replace our end cap, and then we're ready to set it in place on our Fusion. Now when you set it in place, again, you want to be sure that that rounded portion of the bar is facing forward. That's going to be our front. And we're going to gently rest it down in the general area. Now per our instructions, we need to be 32 inches from the front of our front crossbar to the front of our rear crossbar. That gives us our placement. So we'll go ahead and grab a tape measure and make sure we've got that right. And we'll do this for both sides. Now it's time to install our clips. Now all of our clips are the same, front and back, so we don't need to worry about placing them in the right spot. We'll lift up the gray door here, and then we need to install the clip up through the bottom, and it needs to hook in place. Our hook here is actually upside down, so if that happens, no big deal. Just turn it over until that is on bottom. Just like that. Then we'll take that clip, we'll slide it in underneath until it hooks in place, just like that. Go ahead and do that for both sides. Now we need to adjust our hook to where it's making contact with the inside of the door frame. You can see here how it's kind of sticking out. We need it to be up against our door frame like so. So we come up to our bolt here with our included tool and turn that clockwise, and you'll see how it starts to draw in. Now we don't need to overdo this, we just need to make sure that it's sitting correctly. So we can kind of help it along until it actually gets there. From there, we can then start tightening it up here. We want to try to take out as much of that slack as we can on each side. That way when we start tightening it down, everything's going to be tightened down evenly. So I've already gone ahead and done that side, so I'm going to go ahead and give a few more turns here, and then I will alternate sides and make sure that it gets done correctly. Then when we've just about got it nice and tight, we'll listen for that audible click in our tool, and that's how we know it's properly torqued down. From there, we can close up our 2 gray doors. We've got this one here in the front, and then we've got this one here. Last thing to do is to put on our cover, but we can go ahead and close up our door. It just clips on just as easy as it came off. Push it in place, listen for the click, and you're good to go. Once everything's assembled and installed correctly, you're ready to load up your favorite roof-mounted accessory and hit the road. But that's going to complete our look at the Yakima JetStream Crossbar Roof Rack system on our 2018 Ford Fusion.